Hello everyone, I want to do a brief discussion on some Switch 2 leak slash speculation thing. I normally don't talk about this kind of thing, but this one option is there, and there's also a chance this reaches a more general audience, so I'm gonna have to explain motion controls a little bit. But we'll get into that. So basically, what did people find? I'm not gonna show it on screen, because I don't want to risk any takedowns. But there is some kind of camera sensor, or IR sensor, excuse me, on the Joy-Cons for the Nintendo Switch 2. Which means that, potentially, if you have the Joy-Con flat on a table, and someone tried this out, there's like a video of it, it's pretty easy to use it as a mouse. You can even use some of the buttons on it for like a left and right click. So basically there's a chance the Switch 2 Joy-Con could be used as a mouse. And then you could obviously just hold the other Joy-Con in your left hand and you would have a whole different control scheme that's probably much closer to mouse and keyboard aiming for the games. And as you can imagine, when people were talking about this, the game of speculation would be shooters on the Switch, particularly this one. This is Splatoon 3, Nintendo's, Nintendo's shooter game. So, I want to talk about it a little bit, because we have to talk in the sense of Splatoon players who are very established to this, and players who are not, like, established with Splatoon. Because for Splatoon players, and this might surprise some people, motion controls are very good. They're very established. Once you learn them, they are seen as just about as good as mouse and keyboard. Maybe a little bit worse, but not like a significant degree. They are very competitive. It's very good when you get used to them. The amount of camera movement you have is very simple. And Splatoon does, of course, have the traditional stick controls, but Splatoon does not have any form of aim assist on its stick controls. So unless if you're really good at stick controls, they're very awkward to use in this game, and so what happens is the majority of the pro players in this game, and even the majority of Splatoon players in general, use motion controls. Obviously, some people can't use it, some people don't like it, it's not everyone, but the vast majority of players you'll see are actually motion users in this game. So, obviously, I think that if there was a, Joy-Con mouse option, it would be competitive with motion, and it might even be a little bit better if it really does emulate a mouse and keyboard. I can't speak too much for that. But I think the real benefit of this isn't really having Splatoon players switch, because I think for most people who have put experience and time into gyro, it doesn't really offer enough of an advantage to switch to a mouse and keyboard layout in the first place. However, for new players to the series, I think that this could be great. I think Splatoon absolutely needs to have less barriers of entry to the game. I think that it would help out a lot to have it so the game is more accessible in different ways. So, for example, I think Splatoon 3's Testfire did a good job having more weapons available at the start, so people can try out the variety of classes. But a big one is the control scheme. Sticks feel worse in this game than pretty much any other because of the lack of aim assist, and if you're not used to it, motion is tough to pick up. So Splatoon can be a hard sell to those used to more traditional shooters, especially those on PC, and I think being able to have a control scheme that's much more accessible to that can feel more similar, would be very huge, just for that reason, and obviously it benefit other shooters as well. So, in my opinion, I really think that's where the big winners would be. I don't think many people would switch between control schemes, but it does make the game more accessible. More control scheme options are always a good thing. There's no harm in adding more ways to play the game. So personally, I'm still hoping that it's a thing. We don't know, of course, it's just speculation, but in my opinion, if it does happen, it would be great for the game. But that's really all I got to say about it. I hope this was informative. I don't know, it's just kind of a little ramble. I don't plan to talk much about Switch 2 until we get an actual presentation. I'm not really someone who enjoys, like, the whole rumor cycle thing. But I couldn't help but talk about this a little bit because I do think it'd be a big deal. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll see you all later.